All right, I'd like to call this meeting of the West South Milwaukee School Board to order. I will lead us in the pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Suzette, would you please call the roll?
Yes. Mr. Becker.
Here.
Mr. Keller.
Here.
Mrs. Carr. Here. Mr. Burns.
Present.
Mrs. Kaiser. Here. Ms. Deal. Here. Mrs. Lee is excused. Mr. Sikich is
I'm here virtually.
In accordance with the open meeting laws of the state of Wisconsin. Do we have any modifications to the agenda this evening?
No modifications.
All right, then we'll move right into the superintendent's report.
Good evening. I want to first start out by bringing attention to the fact that I am wearing pink tonight in observance of Breast Cancer Awareness Month. And we definitely want to keep in our prayers those who are struggling with cancer, and as well those who have lost individuals to breast cancer. And so definitely want to bring notice to the importance of this month and encourage everyone to go out and raise money and support the various causes that exist to support bringing a cure to breast cancer. Legislative updates. We do have several on tonight. Assembly Bill 342 allowing school boards to provide a district administrator who is not licensed by DPI to bring them aboard. Assembly Bill 403 removing three-year penalty on revenue ceilings for school districts with a failed referendum. And Assembly Bill 223 maintaining a supply of usable opioid antagonists at school. SAA is currently reviewing a substitute amendment which substantially changes most of the provisions of the original bill and will provide an updated summary. We do have several district recognitions on tonight. Thank you, Hensey family. Thank you to the Hens family for their kind and generous donation of $5,000 to fund five $1,000 student scholarships in memory of Carol B. Hens, formerly of Anderson, graduated from West Allis Central High School in 1946. This donation will help provide five West Allis Central graduates with their post-secondary education expenses over the next 5 years. Congratulations to two of our board members. Congratulations to school board members, Mr. Jeff Sikich and Kristen Kaiser. They will both be recognized at the Wisconsin Association of School Boards Fall Regional Meeting on Tuesday, October 10th, 2023, for their efforts in leadership and board development. Mr. Sikich will be recognized at a level 4 and Ms. Kaiser will be recognized at level 1. So would you please join me in recognizing them for their accomplishments? Our educators of the month. 2 weeks ago, we started out on a prize patrol. We wanted to recognize 2 individuals who were nominated by community, by their peers. And tonight we do have 2 people to recognize, and I think we have both of them are in attendance. Okay. So Mr. Michael Mulvey, Nathan Hill High School mathematics teacher, and Mr. John Proctor. Come on up here, Mr. Proctor. I got to get you to smile tonight. Mr. Mulvey, would you please? Our educator. Come up. We're going to play a video. Can we go ahead and do that right quick while we do this transition? Mr. Mulvey, who teaches AP calculus, did I say that right? And something I did not get that high in math, so it's like over me. And Mr. Proctor, who's our head custodian at Wilson Elementary School. So thank you again for your service.
All right. No, I think he said that.
We get the rest of the board, please.
Good choice.
So much. Congratulations again, gentlemen. We want to remind the community that you too can also recognize a staff member for the month of October. Those nominations are still open, and they'll come out again as a reminder in the Friday West Way Forward edition. And so we want to encourage everyone to please nominate someone for October's Educator of the Month. Since our last visit, since our last meeting, I'm sorry, on September 27th, I did participate in the ribbon cutting at Docky for the Culinary Arts Center last week, which was Wisconsin School Board Week. I want to thank you to all of those board members for their work and dedication to the West Allis, West Milwaukee School District. They were highlighted on our social media platforms all last week. So again, thank you for your service. We did complete several check-in meetings with board members. I'm happy to announce that we did every last one in the month of September, actually ahead of time. So thank you guys for being available. And we'll be reaching out again for November very soon, try to get on your schedules as we know you're busy. I think that the one-on-ones are very helpful for me, just to as we build relationships and we definitely build an understanding of where we need to take this district. So I really appreciate you guys being available. We also met with representative from Neola, Dr. Zimmerman, who was helping us review policy changes and mainly the technical corrections to make sure that we're up to date with policies that have been changed from the state. On October 3rd, we had a great meeting with Rick. I know I was gonna mess his name up. Buzalaki, right? Did I say it right? Okay, Buzalaki, Executive Director of MATC. More things will be forthcoming concerning that particular meeting, but we have some exciting things in store with the partnership with MATC. Our employee experience and parent caregiver experience surveys will continue through this Wednesday, October 11th. We'll be sending out more reminders and encouraging all of our parents as well as employees to complete those surveys. October 6th and 8th, I'm continuing to grow in my development. I am a part of the Southern Methodist University District Leadership Fellow. So I have the opportunity to participate with superintendents as well as other central office people from around the nation as we just try to better ourselves in this particular field. And I've enjoyed this past weekend, and just interacting and trying to figure out how we can diagnose problems and come up with solutions. And it's really focusing on what we call an impact model, and more information will be forthcoming on that, because I think it's timely as we start to think about how we improve our ratings and scores and things of that nature. Our listening and learning sessions will continue at Docky on tomorrow. It's tomorrow, right? Yeah, tomorrow the 10th, Hoover on the 11th, and then Irving on the 12th of this week. On next week, we have FLW on the 17th and Walker on the 18th. And couple of other things I did put in here, some attendance comparisons from previous years. And so if you look at attendance compared to last year, we're actually we're up about a little bit over 2% for attendance. So that's definitely a celebration. I want to recognize, I know Melvin Biko Johnson is in the audience, as well as Connie. Do I see Connie? I do see Connie. They've been really working strategically with our schools and making sure that we have formalized processes. It's not, we're trying to remove the Hale way and the Central way for attendance, the FOW way. We really want to come with a solid West Dallas, West Milwaukee way of tracking attendance, having meetings with parents. How are we having conversations with students to improve our attendance? And so I want to definitely thank them for their work with this, as well as the welcome home walks that seem to help us well from as we started the school year. So discipline comparison. This is a preliminary report. I want to note, and because I asked this question, I knew somebody was going to ask tonight as well. How do we break down the data to look at certain offenses and how they compare? Unfortunately, WiseDash does not allow us to do that at this particular time. That the updates are coming on November 1st. So when we do this particular report again on November in the following the quarter, we'll have a more comprehensive report and breakdown of which offenses are seeming to be sort of our attention getters. We do want to also point out the next report, our actual enrollment versus projected enrollment. We are slightly down from last year. It looks like it's a little blurred, but I believe it's 100 and like 118. Thank you. 118 students below projection. And then our overall membership is down 62 students. And as Connie has worked with me and trying to enlighten me on what membership means versus enrollment versus attendance, all these kind of things. We are down 62 students, meaning that at this particular point with open enrollment, with students who are homeschooled, we are 62 students less than last year at this particular point. So that's what that number means. We're at 7814. And at this particular time, I'll pause for any questions or unless if there are
Any questions regarding the attendance data or the infraction data? So we expected to see the infraction data on a quarterly basis, or and then we'll have more in-depth comparisons.
We're going to do it following quarterly grades.
Okay.
I just wanted to, I didn't want to give it all at one time. I just wanted to start out at sort of like that midpoint for this time. But because it isn't complete, we will have a more comprehensive report after quarterly grades.
Okay, and those numbers that you said are everything together, so it's any school rule broken is being listed.
Correct. So we have no way to tell.
So we don't know.
Yeah.
Right. Okay.
So hopefully my understanding is WiseDash is going to allow it to happen after November 1st.
Okay. That's important to know. So it's not like every one of those is
No,
a big fight or something like that.
no.
It could be
could
something
be something
simple.
minor. Yeah.
Oh, anything else? Jeff, do you have anything? No? Okay. All right. Is that it?
That's it.
All right. Then we'll move on to our item 7, our public comments for this evening. So if there's anyone who would like to address the board who is in the room, there's a sign up on the back that you need to fill out so that we can know that you are looking to address the board. If you are online, there is a link in the chat where you can sign up to address the board. Currently, we don't have anyone signed up right now to be able to address the board. So I'll wait for 15 seconds to see if anyone who maybe arrived late or is in Zoom who would like to address the board can sign up. All right, seeing no additional signups, so close public comments at this time. And we will move on with item 8, our board report, starting with 8.1, review of our board calendar. So today is October 9th. We have our regular Board of Education meeting, and then we have a service to our stakeholders and community workshop about Let's Talk. Then on October 16th at 6 p.m., we have some school showcases, Pershing, Mitchell, and Wilson. And then immediately following, we'll have a closed session. And then on Monday, October 23rd at 6 p.m., we have our regular Board of Education meeting, which will include our final budget and tax levy. And then we have a financial stability and efficiency workshop about the 2024 referendum that is being considered. And I would encourage those interested in learning more about the referendum to tune in for that workshop, either when we do it live, or if you could make a note to review it afterwards if you're not able to attend live. And then on November 13th at 6 p.m., we have a regular Board of Education meeting. We've got 8.2, our board committee reports, starting with 8.2.1, college and career readiness. Ms. Carr.
Thank you. The Life Readiness Committee met tonight before this meeting to discuss the following. First on the agenda was Act 20, which is legislation that is supporting science-based reading instruction. This instruction includes 9 reading pillars taught systematically and explicitly. The good news is that our new resource, which is Scholastic, addresses all of these 9 pillars already. All of these changes will take time and could be as far as 2 years away. But eventually, some of the things that we'll be seeing will be schools will have to use the same universal screener, and that will be picked by the state. Students scoring 25% or lower will be given then a diagnostic screener provided by the state. And if the student scores a 25% on that, then the student will need a personal plan. All teachers K-5 through 3rd grade will have mandatory training, and colleges will eventually be mandated to teach the science-based reading as well during the elementary programs. Our district saw this coming down the pike, so we have already started training teachers, and we're in that stage where we're just following the legislation very, very closely and making sure that we're prepared to do whatever is mandated, but also just keeping the things that we know are tried and true good instruction. Next agenda item was exploring world language options. Our current model needs to evolve the way that our world is evolving. For the past year or so, Steve Carr has been researching some of the latest models and what surrounding districts are offering. We're in this exploratory stage, but we're kind of looking at like visa sponsorships to bring in teachers, or virtual options. These are just some of the things that are among the things that we are exploring. But we just know that it's really important that we start to move that forward. And so today was just about bringing the board in on what's coming in the future. And that's my report.
Thank you very much, Ms. Carr. Does anybody have any questions for Ms. Carr regarding her report? I have one. Is there any timeline on, when we're going to get like a report back of what options were considered and what's being recommended?
Not at this time, but I do know that they started this last year. I would say by the end of this year, I think that we should have something pretty concrete.
Okay. And is, just to clarify for the community, is this in response to the difficulty it is in being able to find staff to be able to teach some of these classes, and then maybe expand the offerings we have here for languages in our district?
That's correct. We are definitely addressing the shortages in certain areas, not just in the language, but also looking at other ESLs, ELL or ESL supports as well. So for our especially our growing population, where we're having certain languages that we may not be able to communicate with effectively. So look at those options.
And I think just a note, I've been to a lot of listening sessions, and I kind of feel like that's come up a lot. And so I'm thrilled that our district was already thinking about what we could do to improve world languages, because it seems to be something that our community really would like us to do.
Thank you. Any other questions or comments from Ms. Carr, her committee moving forward? All right, seeing now, we'll move on to 8.2.2, communications and community relations. Ms. Steele.
All right, sorry. All right, so the communication committee, we last met on September 25th. So we reviewed a draft timeline for the 2024 referendum communications. So discussion centered around creating a blend of messages that address both the head and heart. So these communications will include like facts about the referendum, why it's needed, et cetera. And then we'd like to get some testimonials and stuff from our stakeholders to kind of appeal to the heart. A postcard will be going out to all community members in November, inviting them to the first round of engagement sessions. There's also going to be a community survey that will be distributed in March of 2024. The window for that, it hasn't been decided yet. And so that was kind of all the things we discussed around the referendum communications. We also reviewed the new Let's Talk feature that's available on our district website. So this feature actually lives in the left-hand corner of our website. It allows community members to ask questions, bring up concerns, provide feedback, et cetera, in real time to our administrative staff. Responses to this isn't for something that you would do like if you need an immediate answer. Responses to these inquiries occur within 24 hours of being received. Most of the time, it's actually less than 24. They're usually, within a couple hours, but again, we have that kind of latitude. Let's Talk has had a soft launch in September, but it's going to be rolled out to the community this upcoming Sunday, October 15th. Additional information about the feature will be provided tonight during our board workshop. And then the last thing that we discussed is continuing our attendance campaign beyond the month of September, which was Attendance Awareness Month. So information about the importance of school attendance and how to report school absences will continue to be disseminated throughout the rest of the school year. And that's my report.
Thank you, Ms. Steele. Does anyone have any questions for Ms. Steele regarding her report? I actually don't have any questions, but thank you. Does anyone have any suggested items for future agendas for Ms. Steele and her committee? Seeing none, look forward to hearing more about it at our workshop on the 23rd. All right, let's move on. 8.3 board member reports of community events. Any community events that we attended we'd like to report in on? Ms. Kaiser?
So I have two. One is I did go to Blocktoberfest, which was part of our rec department. I was in attendance, and it was really wonderful to see so many folks there, to see kids interacting. So, I love that our rec department was there for families to join this event. If you would acknowledge me or allow me to do this, today is Indigenous Peoples Day. I have spent the last 6 years working at Indian Community School, and if we're okay with a real quick land acknowledgement, I'd really appreciate it. Okay. So Sigole Sikwe, Kristen Kaiser Ninyung Gets, West Dallas, Ni Wakadun Joda. What I said was Kristen Kaiser is what they call me. And I come from the land of West Dallas. First, I want to say happy Indigenous Peoples Day to everyone. And I emphasize happy because so much of Indigenous history focuses on the atrocities of history. But it's important to celebrate too. The people who continue speaking and sharing their culture, their languages, their creation stories, and their traditional ways. Next, I would like to acknowledge that West Dallas, West Milwaukee, Greenfield, and New Berlin are on the lands of those who were removed or erased from their traditional homelands here, including the Meskwaki, Sauk and Fox, Dakota Oyate, Iowa, Miami, Kickapoo, and Mascoutin, and all the nations whose names have been lost to history. I would like to acknowledge the more recent nation who took care of the land, the Bodway-Wadmy, Keepers of the Fire, who reside here today as part of the Three Fires Confederacy and are known today as the Potawatomi. Last, I would like to acknowledge all of our students, schools, staff, and community members today who take care of our school district and communities. Yawanko for allowing me this opportunity today on Indigenous Peoples Day, and Yawanko to Indian Community School for the land acknowledgement I've used portions of tonight.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Anyone else like to report on community events? Ms. Steele?
Sure. I'm sure some of you want to do these, but I was very excited to be able to be one of the ribbon cutters at the grand opening of our Culinary Arts Center, that is available to all of our students. It is located at Docky. It was a wonderful event. It was great to see so many people there, and we got to taste some of the, well, Jane and I had some of the yummy cookies there. So it was just a wonderful experience. And it's going to be a really wonderful opportunity for our kids, to provide them with this opportunity, especially those who are really interested in culinary arts. That's one of our biggest struggles, is getting our kids access to these type of things because of schedules and stuff like that. So now that we have it right here in our district, it's going to be really great. The other thing I just wanted to, the homecoming parade. So I just wanted to say thank you to Hale for inviting the school board. So I had a lot of fun. Got to ride in the back of a pickup truck, stand up in the back of a pickup truck and throw candy at people. So, I mean, it's a great way to end my week. So,
Four people, throw candy, 4 people, not at me.
oh, yes, 4 people. Yes, not at people, not at people. Yeah. So thank you for inviting us to participate in that.
All right, thank you, Ms. Steele. Anyone else want to report on a community event they attended? No, okay, all right, I'll just say that, yes, I was able to attend the ribbon cutting as well. It was a quick stop by because we had a listening session to get to afterwards, but was happy to be able to be there for that event, and it was packed. There was a lot of people there, a lot of people. So looks like a great facility. Looking forward to seeing all the great things that can happen now that we have it for our students, and looking forward to see what that turns into now that we finally have a facility like that in our district. Also was able to attend the homecoming parade for Hale. I did appreciate the invite and the fact that it started at 5:30, so it allowed me to not have to get off of work in order to attend. So it was there were more people out, I think, for this later time frame. So I was I think very good, and the rain was done, so we didn't get wet. It was just a little bit chilly, but not too bad. And then attended a number of all of the listening events that we had at the various schools over the last several weeks. I want to thank everyone who came out for that. I want to encourage people who have listening sessions coming up for their school communities to come to them. It is a wonderful opportunity to be able to interact with Dr. Robinson, to learn about him, and to be able to tell us, and the board members and Dr. Robinson will be there, as well as other cabinet members, about their school community and things that they see there, things that they have questions, comments, concerns. It's an opportunity for you to raise those so that we can hopefully address them. So I would like to encourage everyone who's coming, who has ones that are upcoming, to attend if possible, because I found them to be very useful as a board member to be able to hear from those communities directly. Okay, with that, that's all I have to say. I'll move on. So 8.4 is updates and information items for myself. I kind of already did that with the listening session, so I won't go any further. I'll move on to our consent agenda for this evening. So we have 9.1, approval of our minutes from our regular Board of Education meeting on September 25th. 9.2, our employment summary, and 9.3, our supplemental contracts. Do we need anything separated out? If not, I would look for a motion.
Move to approve.
Second.
Been moved and seconded. Any last minute discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
And Jeff's a thumbs up. Opposed? All right, that passes.
It's official.
That's
We
it.
have- We have a
So, I want to formally congratulate and introduce to the district our new principal at General Mitchell Elementary School, Mrs. Schwal. Would you come on up, Rebecca Schwal? Come on up. That's up.
Oh, Amanda's got it.
Go away very.
Would you mind coming up with us, please?
Oh, Lord. Oh, geez.
I'll get there eventually. Come on up.
We can have
Photo apps.
Thank you very much.
If she want to say anything, she can say something.
Mrs. Schwal, would you like to address us, say something? Would you like to say something? Yeah.
You don't have to if you don't want to.
Thank you. I'm very excited. I'm nervous, but I'm very excited to continue the great work at Mitchell and to have this opportunity. I'm very humbled and honored to be able to lead a school. I've been a part of, a part of our district. This is my 10th year already. So I'm super excited to be able to lead a school now and to get busy. So thank you very much.
Thank you. Congrats.
She is not a stranger to the district. She served as the interim last year at Longfellow. And when I tell you she was outstanding in her our interviews throughout this process, we created what I believe is a transparent process that allowed for voice from the community, from teachers. I met with her one-on-one following all of the interviews, and was just ecstatic that how and just looking forward to the great job I know she's going to do. So thank you again for being here. Right, appreciate it.
Yep. All right, congrats again, and looking forward to seeing your work over there. So thank you very much. All right, so move on to item 10, our action items for this evening, starting with 10.1, early college credit applicants. And Mr. Carr is here to tell us all about it.
I think I'm supposed to come over here, right?
Yes.
Okay. Kind of full government we have here. Well, thanks for having me again, to present to you the spring class of Start College Now and Early College Credit Program students. As you may know, and it's part of the attachments, every year for the spring class of students who are going to take on early college credit programming and or Start College Now program, the students need to submit their application and all of the supporting documentation by October 1st. We've decided to make it a fairly ambitious turnaround so that we can get the students their acceptance so that they can then start the enrollment process, and we can work through the college enrollment, the people involved with enrollment and registration and all of that. So I'm very excited to present to we have 15 students in Start College Now, and we have 7 students who are taking on the challenge of early college credit programming. All of them certainly worthy of taking that on and moving forward. And connecting to something we were speaking about earlier in the world languages realm, several of the students are deciding they wanted to get take advanced Arabic, and it speaks to that is a need for us and to continue to grow that out. Also worthy of note in the Start College Now students, and I'm conflating the two, I'm putting both of them together, but the Start College Now students, large number of those students, just as we had last year, are involved in the nursing assistant program over at MATC, and that's been a very welcoming program for us. We've had a difficult time as we tried to grow that program, getting a staff member for our fairly small group of kids. So they've been very welcoming for us to take those students on. They don't mind taking the tuition also. Let's just face it, they're happy to take it, but it's nice to have a relationship with them. And I'm looking forward to speaking with METC as we continue to grow our opportunities to collaborate with them and be a part of they can be a part of us and we can be a part of them. I mean, geez, their West Dallas campus is on our block here. I mean, let's continue to grow that out. So are there any questions or anything you need me to elaborate on?
So how many years have we done the program Early College and Start College Now?
Well, when it used to be called Youth Options, and then they split the Youth Options in between Early College Credit Programming and Start College Now. So it's been Early College Credit Programming and Start College Now in name for the last, I believe, 6 years. Before that, it was Youth Options, and there were some different stipulations on enrollment. But 6 or 7 years we've had an Early College Credit Program.
And I just ask because it's just, to me, such a wonderful opportunity. And I feel like 7 students is low. Like I'm wondering, like, is that a baseline? Is there something that you're doing to increase those numbers, or how are you moving forward? With enrollment?
Well, it depends on it, first semester, second semester. Some years we've had far more than that
Okay.
involved. In some
Okay,
years,
fair
it
enough.
just, it really does depend on a variety of factors. Most of the students who are taking, well, all of the students who go to early college credit programming and start college on have to go into some coursework that we don't offer. So if they're, they take on, we don't have an American Sign Language course, so they wanted to take American Sign Language, so they were able to take that.
Mhm.
We do have a fairly comprehensive opportunity here in our district for advanced placement programming and some of our other, we get fairly broad opportunities. So there are kids who will apply to take a course that we currently have in our schedule for dual enrollment, and it just doesn't work. And it doesn't fit into the confines of what early college credit programming and start college now programming allow for. So yeah, I mean, our counselors certainly do the marketing, I suppose, that this is an opportunity. It has to happen pretty quick because they have a month,
Right.
to get all that taken care of. But most of the students, and a lot of the students who are in early college credit programming in particular, will take several courses throughout their experience as they get into it. We've had a student who's taking the second year of Arabic this year, which is great. Down that road, we don't have any sequence of Arabic, so
Sure.
But yeah, it's sevens. It's a little bit light, but
Okay,
we'll see what we get in the spring.
all
So-
right. Looking forward to hearing back on
Okay.
that.
Other questions?
Other questions on this? If parents were looking for information about this program, would they be able to find it on the website? And if so, where would it be?
It's on the website. I know it's on the website, but I think it's under the student and the parent tab. If I remember correctly. It's where I find it. I just usually, I'm a website research kind of a fool. I just start poking around and then I find it.
Just so that people, if they're interested in the program, that they know where to look for it.
Right.
And then do we advertise it with the counselors at the end of the year for students who will be coming back the next year, so that they know, like, hey, this is going to be coming due on October 1st. So if you're interested in doing something, start getting your stuff together over the summer, so that as soon as you come to school, you can submit your information. So you're not like scrambling with the beginning of the school year to try to get all that stuff together.
Yeah, that's something that goes at our juniors, our sophomores and our juniors going into the summer. They are aware of that,
Okay.
because it is a fairly quick turnaround as we head into right now.
Absolutely.
So, yeah, it's, did you find it? It's, under,
It's under learning,
yep,
and then the word, is it the one that says college course options for high
Yep.
school students?
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay,
so
there
that's
we
right
go.
there.
I just
So-
wanted to note that.
Yeah, and if they have questions, it goes through the counselors, and then the counselors then submit the applications that they vet out,
Okay,
and then they get them to me.
got it.
And it really, one of the things that, and sorry to take all your time here, but one of the things that's important, students do need to, we want our students who are taking on a college level rigor at a college campus to have a positive experience.
Mhm.
And we want their transcript to reflect a strong opportunity there. Unfortunately, if a student, and we haven't had this happen to us, but if a student doesn't pass the class and they don't drop the class in a timely manner, the students are expected to pay the full tuition. We pay 60% of their tuition costs for those kids who pass.
Got it.
That's what the state allows.
Mhm.
Kids have to pay the whole thing if they
fail.
don't pass.
Okay.
So we're very clear to the counselors, please.
Yeah.
Don't, if a student hasn't had an experience, if they have attendance issues or please don't put that kid in that spot. We don't want a kid taking on a 700 to couple $1,000s worth of tuition expenses, that's difficult. So, but we haven't had that happen. So, and I think it's because our counselors are conscious of.
Okay.
Other questions?
Any other questions? So it looks like we're gonna be taking 10.1 and 10.2 together, if the board is okay with that. Is that all right with you, Jeff, Mr. Zickich? Okay. All right, so if there are no further questions, I would look for a motion on 10.1 and 10.2.
Move to approve.
Second. And moved and seconded. Any last minute discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Jeff's a thumbs up. That passes. All right, thank you very much,
Thanks.
Mr. Carr.
Thank you. Thank you. Appreciate it.
All right, we'll move into our workshop for this evening on Let's Talk. Dr. Stewart, I believe you're going to be leading this and with Ms. Hahn. I'm sorry.
Yes, Carolyn. Yeah.
So one of the things that we wanted to do was be intentional about engaging our parents. Engagement has to be a two-way street. It can't be one way. And one quick way that we found through research was the Let's Talk app or Let's Talk function on our website. This allows for our parents and community to reach someone in a quick, efficient manner, and then to get a reply back in what we believe is a sufficient time frame. As we've heard time and time again through the listening and learning sessions, the response has been great as far as getting back to parents, and parents have acknowledged, and they don't always like the response, but they appreciate how fast and how prompt it is. So I want to publicly thank Dr. Stewart and Carolyn Hahn and her team and Dr. Stewart's team as well for specifically really kicking this off. And then we're going to allow for them to kind of give a public presentation concerning the particular app function. Okay. Dr. Stewart.
Thank you. That was a
Awesome.
great introduction.
Yes. Do you want to introduce yourself?
Yeah, so my name is Carolyn Hahn. I've met most of you, not everybody. And I'm the manager of family engagement and experience here at the school district. And I've done a lot of work with Let's Talk. I'll actually share that through this presentation. So this is just like a brief overview of what it is. This is our timeline. So we actually put this on our website back on August 25th. And then over the last couple of weeks, we've been meeting with each leadership team at every building to go through a Let's Talk training. We thought that the individualized approach would work better because each building kind of has their own specific needs or questions. We just wrapped those up last week. We also did present to the CCR board committee a couple weeks ago, and then also to the district managers as well. And then that brings us to today, which is presenting to you all with the anticipation of making this, I suppose it's kind of like an unveiling, but it's already out there and been talked about, but it will officially go in the district newsletter on Sunday. There is a specific vocabulary that Let's Talk uses. These are the highlights. So a dialogue is what the customer submits. A customer can be anybody. So community member, parent, guardian, student, staff, anyone can submit a dialogue. A user would be those of us with logins, and we have two main types. The owner is the primary person responsible for replying and closing a dialogue, and then a team member would be the secondary person responsible for that. Let's Talk keeps a lot of data. And so aging is the amount of time between receiving a dialogue and closing a dialogue. It is important to note, though, that we have business hours. So it's 7:30 to 3:30, which is like a typical school day. So when I get a dialogue on a Friday at 2 p.m., it will age for 1.5 hours, then pause, and then it picks back up on Monday morning at 7:30 a.m. And then the goal is to reply to a dialogue within 2 business days. After that, it's considered expired, which is like a red flag to make sure that we get that one taken care of. So far, that has not been the case. Like Ms. Deal said, we've been getting to most of them within 2 to 3 hours or less. And then feedback score, when a dialogue is closed, the customer has the option to give us a rating of 1 to 10, and then to provide comments. Maybe about 20% of the time we get a score, and then even less than that, we get comments. Typically, they just put that comment right in their initial dialogue of like, thank you or appreciate it or something along those lines. If you haven't seen it, that's where you can click. It's that little contact us in the bottom left-hand side. It is on every page. It never, ever goes away. So that's the easiest way to access it. When you click on it, it opens up a form. You select a topic, say who you are, what you'd like to say. You put your message in there and then some contact information. And then once you click send, you get 2 confirmations. So you get a confirmation right on that form, but then you also get an email confirmation as well. And then on the user side, there's 2 ways that we can respond. The first is just directly through our Gmail. So this means no additional clicks for anyone replying to a dialogue. You just read it, scroll down, click reply, give the response, and then you click send and it closes the dialogue. Or you can click on that little go to dialogue function and it takes you into the website. And that's where we'll go a little bit deeper in that in a little bit. Since we started this back on August 25th, these are the adjustments that we've made. The first was we needed to move our Let's Talk icon. It was overlapping with the English or the language icon. So we moved that over to the left on both the computer and the cell phone. And we also removed the anonymous feature that it originally started with. Maybe about 2 weeks ago, we added the translation option as well. And then we've created a practice site for training purposes. So that's what we'll use tonight. And that's what buildings have been using after we've met with them. They've been using the training site to just send dialogues to one another, to other buildings and whatnot. We did, after we met with the CCR committee, we did update the confirmation response as well, just to specifically note that if this is something that's time sensitive, they should really be reaching out to the building or rec department directly. Because while we get to them as quickly as we can, it's certainly not instant. Like, we're not robots behind it. We are real humans answering these questions. And then we've updated the categories and topics a couple times, and I'll show those on the next slide. On the horizon, Let's Talk says early 2024 will be a 2-factor authentication, so that it really reduces any likelihood of like bots submitting dialogues or people giving us fake information in the dialogue, like contact information. So that's on the horizon. These are our categories over time. The first couple of weeks, we just had a couple of back to school topics. And then once school started, we switched to the first weeks of school. And we decided on those topics based on what we had previously gotten and identified themes. And then since September 20th to now, we have the 5 category topics under the district office category. And then every school building and program has a topic as well. So as of today, we've gotten 97. We've technically had 30 school days, so it's an average of 3.2 per day. Some take less than a minute to reply, others take 5, can take more. I've described Let's Talk as the place to start when you don't know where to start. And I think these dialogues really speak to that. There's a couple in there where I'm like, you could have called the main office or whatnot, but a lot of these they really don't know who the point person is to get the information. And that's why Let's Talk has been a really great ad, because it's a stopgap for that, like 7% of the questions when people don't know who to go to for those. This is some of the data that Let's Talk keeps. So it shows up our customer type, by and large, parents and guardians. And then the most common type would be a question. It's a little bit hard to see, but this speaks to the feedback scores that they can give us. So right now our average score is an 8.3, 12 positive, 3 negative. And the 3 negative ones, it wasn't that the information wasn't timely and accurate. It's that they didn't like the answer that I gave them. So if it was like about transportation and saying, no, like you don't qualify for a bus stop, things like that. The average age is 2.6 hours. So just over 2.5 hours, none past due. And then we don't have any critical dialogues either. Any questions? Yeah.
Is there a cost to this?
I don't know that answer.
Because I'm looking online and it says it's an Apple product. I don't.
Oh, for our users, for
For
customers?
the district, would we have to pay something for this?
We do pay K-12 Insight for this website add-on. Yes.
Cause I'll be honest, as a parent, I don't want one more thing to communicate with. I have email, I have phone, I have carrier pigeon. I sometimes feel like there's too many ways. So I'm getting dojos 5 times a day now. plus emails with my teachers, plus, once in a while a phone call. I don't feel like this, if this is being used is this being used by teachers?
No, this is,
No.
you literally, if I want a question, I can be like, click, and someone will respond. This is just a community
website.
access.
It's on the website.
It's on the website. So
But
you
it's,
just,
it's a website?
It's
no,
on our website.
on, you go
It's on-
click.
That's on our district's website. So go back, Carolyn, Dr. Stewart.
It's just if you want to ask a question and like, you don't know who you want to go to. So I go in, I pick a
So
category.
nothing is going out to parents.
Okay,
Parents have the option of contacting us. Okay,
If they have a
if
question,
they have a question.
parents, community members, students.
Yeah, anybody.
Could be anybody.
It's not that another thing that's going to them.
right, but, okay,
So like if I'm like, oh, I don't know who to contact about transportation, I can jump on the website, I can go, oh, let's talk, go in there. I blah, 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 and then Carolyn or whoever they're gonna send it to is gonna be like, oh, I'll follow up. They either, call me, hey, Miss Deal, what's going on? Da, 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 da. Or here's who you need to contact. Here's the number for the bus line.
my issue is like, we're paying for something, we have emails to every staff
But
director.
you don't always know who to like, on the first day of school. I knew who I needed to contact about transportation, but there were a lot of parents who were like, this corner's unsafe, da, da, da. This is like, literally just go to the website and oh, I can right there. So I think it's valuable.
It's something we have heard in feedback, Ms. Kaiser, about where they're not sure where to go for information. And so because of that, they don't go anywhere. And it becomes a problem that persists versus a problem that gets addressed.
Sure.
And so this is just a quick, like, you don't have to search for anything, or if you're not sure where to go, you can click on the button and provide what you're looking for. And then,
Mhm.
like Ms. Han was saying, a lot of them are just, oh, you just need to, this is where you need to go, or this is who you need to talk to, or this
So
is
if
where
you
you
type
find
in
the
and say, here's my issue with transportation, it'll go right to that transportation person in our district.
No. It goes to,
It goes to whoever's
Mhm.
looking at it, and then she can direct
She
them
directed to transportation.
to that person, yeah. So it's supposed to be a way that's faster to be able to get those questions answered, as opposed to someone trying to search through the website or contact someone else. Go through 3 steps to get to the actual person they need to talk to. It's a one-step shop instead. Now, a cost to it, do we know what the cost is?
I would have to look. I don't remember off the top of my head.
Okay.
Mhm.
So obviously there is a cost for everything we do.
Yes,
Yeah. Okay,
I think practicing might help. Carolyn has designed almost like a little mock activity for us to just take a few minutes and walk through. And maybe that will help kind of situate it as a user, which you will all play in this scenario.
Ms. Carr, did you want to? No?
So I'm just gonna pass out, I don't have one for everybody, just because that would be a lot, so these ones are the double, so whoever submits them,
okay.
will submit both of them. Then you'll look at them.
I tried it yesterday.
Okay. So if you guys don't mind, I don't know if you guys have the slide, don't, you can scan that QR code, and then you can fill in the information.
It's okay if you don't get it all in there.
I mean, I've done it last night, but.
And you just go to the website.
No,
Go to the website.
no, because it's the,
It's
Yeah, a lot of people.
Yeah, here, let me
Yeah.
go on the QR. This is like a practice site.
Oh,
I see.
So then
Got
when Carolyn shows you the back end, you don't see any actual
Okay.
data submitted. Here you go.
You wanna do one together? I don't have. Yeah. All right, so. What do I have to pick a practice?
There's a WAW on Board of Education, so you guys have your own tile. Yeah.
I couldn't get the scanner.
Oh, the QR code?
Yeah. Well,
No, can we
yeah,
just write?
QR code scanner.
Bad. No. Do you have Apple or Android? No.
I have Droid, it just doesn't zoom.
Okay. We have a debate at my office at work because everybody except for like 3 of us have an Apple.
I hate it.
So do I.
It makes you do things their way.
I feel weird. So.
Okay,
Just smooth.
so I got my little message.
No, we each got our own.
All
You
right.
got your parent or guardian. I'm just, I'm the community.
Thanks, figure it out.
Although I'm gonna be a parent or guardian because I'm living in the civil district.
Okay. So I'm gonna show all these through the Let's Talk website because this is really where I can showcase the features that it has. So I did put one in here just ahead of time because I wanted to show the translation feature. Zoom and you guys can see that. Kind of tough to see. So this one was submitted to us in Spanish. And right away, Let's Talk will translate it into English, which is what you see down in that gray portion. To reply back to this customer, I just click reply. Type in my response. And then I scroll down and click the translation. And then it's going to give that translation in the gray area.
That's usually helpful.
Yeah, and so when meeting with buildings, this feature is relatively new, but we came to the decision that it would be best to leave the English and Spanish translation in there, just in case it didn't translate perfectly. So they have something to reference to if there's an English speaker in the house or whatnot. So you type your response and then you go ahead and you just click send as closed, and then that one's going to come out of the queue. So this is an example of a compliment. So I could reply back to this one and say, thank you so much for sharing this with me. I will make sure to pass this along to Miss Timmons. We did have our first compliment last week. It was to FLW, and it was a student that just wanted to shout out the building and say, I really like going to school here. So
Aw.
that was fun. The technology form. So my daughter says she needs a Chromebook. Can you share the form with me? So this might be a situation where rather than replying through Let's Talk, I might just call them because it's a little more detailed of an answer. And if I do that, I can close out that dialogue by just clicking on this left-hand panel and then clicking close. If I wanted to put a note in there, there is an option to do like an internal dialogue. So I can put a note saying, spoke with the parent at 3:00 p.m. In case it ever comes up again.
I was gonna say, do.
Which I would suggest you do.
Right,
Yeah.
I was gonna say, having a trail of, this is what we did, this is
Yeah.
the action. Yeah.
Yeah, so I've used the internal dialogue. Quite honestly, I like to always follow up with emails anyway, saying thanks for the call, glad we connected, and close it out that way too.
Mhm.
So how do I get the website for DocKey? So this is wanted just to showcase this left-hand side. They put it as a suggestion, but it's actually a question. So I'd want to switch it over to question. And then I would reply and I could provide them with the DocKey website in this one.
Is there a way for this to not get spammed by students? Cause I could see a bored middle schooler being like, da, 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 you know, cause if
Mhm.
it's on the website,
Mm-hmm,
that we all have access to it.
mm-hmm,
So I'm just
yeah,
wondering about that.
that,
But you get threats, I mean, cause you never know what, you know,
Yeah.
I'm just wondering.
so two things. So Let's Talk can easily track IP
Oh, okay.
addresses. Yeah, so we got one, I would call it a spam. And they gave a fake phone number and a fake email address. And so I brought it up with our representative and she said, well, we can track the IP right away if we needed to. It wasn't a situation where we needed to track the IP. But that's when she shared that they're going they're working on that two-factor authentication to reduce the likelihood of us getting any kind of spam. There is also, I can do this one. So
Okay, I didn't finish all of it, because you gave us a really, really, really.
I know, that's okay. That's okay.
Open house,
Yes.
encouraging and enjoyed meeting staff. It would be helpful for them to wear name tags so that we know who everyone is.
Yeah,
So I'm not.
Suggestion, so.
yeah, it was a great suggestion. That is one that we actually got, and I was like, that is because these kind of dangle too low. Let's say that Amy Jane had submitted multiple dialogues with that email address or that phone number. Then there's going to be a little circle next to the email address that will say like 5. Or next to the phone number will say like 4 if she's submitted with that number 4 times. So we can track repeat customers. And if it feels like a spam situation where it's like a middle schooler or, high schooler kind of just messing with the system, we can track that. All of their submissions. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Okay. I was gonna type out more responses, but I feel like the system's pretty simple to use and I don't want to waste anybody's time.
So if someone reports bullying, reports Title
Mhm.
IX infraction, sexual harassment, a crime
Mhm,
on here,
mhm.
is there any way to flag that and ensure, are there keywords that can bring these things more forward so that it could be reacted to even faster? I know this is right now anyways, a
Yeah.
fast turnaround.
Yeah.
But if you start getting a lot more, that might reduce that turnaround time. So is there any sort of feature like that? So that if someone uses this feature for that purpose, that we'd be able to we would see it and know about it sooner.
Yeah, there is a feature that will flag specific words.
Okay.
And bring it as like a critical dialogue.
Okay.
We haven't used it yet.
Okay.
That's something we can explore down the line if we need to. I would hope if there's bullying or sexual harassment or anything along those lines, it's being reported directly to the building. Like this wouldn't really be the place for that. It can certainly happen, but I would really encourage.
Well, obviously, we're not encouraging that,
Yeah.
right? But when we open up something like this, which is a quick and easy way to communicate with the school district, that then is like, I did my due diligence, I reported this, right?
Mhm.
And now you guys need to take care of it. And so I just want to ensure that those sorts of things I don't think they would fall through the cracks, but there may be a delay in response or noticing it if there is no keyword that's pulling things up. Or not to give you any ideas, someone puts in a bomb threat
Mhm.
into Let's Talk, right?
Mhm.
And so now we don't know about that right away, right? Because that
Mhm.
needs immediate action for it. So if there is a feature that would allow for keywords to flag and bring those things immediately to the front, I think that's something that we probably should implement.
Yes, definitely. And then as we transition ownership more to be on the building level, Carolyn and I won't go away as like being able to see all the dialogues and be alerted. So we're both alerted every time a new dialogue comes in. And Let's Talk has an app as well. So every time one comes in, it even like push notification to my phone and I can like hover over it and read it. And I do feel like we'll continue to monitor those pretty closely. But we will continue to have the keywords flagged and monitor what kinds of dialogues are being submitted as the rollout grows.
Okay.
Yeah.
Awesome. So to go back to Brian Keller, so he asked about transportation because they're moving to West Allis next month. This is one of the ways that you can close a dialogue. Send as closed is most commonly used, but in this situation, I actually need more information from the customer. So what I would do is ask for the address and the grades of their students, and then I would click as send as pending details. And it does 2 things. It pauses the aging because I need something from the customer. There's nothing else I can do until I get that information. And then secondly, it keeps the dialogue open so that if a day goes by or 2 days go by and I don't hear from that customer, I can reach back out to them and say, hey, I need that address and I need to know the grades of your kids. Otherwise, I can't answer your question. Let's see. Go back to our name tag one. If this was sent to the district site, but it was specifically for, let's say, Pershing Elementary. I can switch the topic by going over here and then clicking to Pershing Elementary. So this is a nice feature. So now this one will come out of my queue and go over to Pershing. So this is a really nice feature when we get the really random dialogues and people like it's such a good question, and to find the person that needs to answer it can be a little tough. But it's helpful to just be able to say to building principals, if you get something and you don't know, reassign it to district office and we'll take care of it. And make sure that it gets to the right person. So like I said, there's a lot that can be done within the website as far as how we close it, reassigning it, keeping track of data and all of that. Yeah.
So who in the school buildings is going to be responsible for addressing these?
Right now, every principal, AP, deeper learning coach and dean has been trained on Let's Talk and has a Let's Talk account and access to the practice sites. On Thursday, we're going to ask from each building to have one point person to be the one responding to the dialogues. So using like Nathan Hale, for example, let's say Carrie Skanecki is going to be the point person, then she'll be the owner, which is that primary person, but the rest of the admin team will still have access to the dialogues in case they needed to address it. Or if she was gone for the day, they can log in and see them.
Okay. So that was really my question was based around if someone's out unexpectedly, that they know the other people know that they need to be following up if they do get one of those during the day. And then is there on your end, if everyone's gone to hail or something doesn't get addressed by a certain amount of time, does it then get flagged over into your guys' queue at all? So you can say, oh, for whatever reason, this question is not getting answered at hail, and then we can look into why that is. In the meantime, still get the question addressed.
Yeah, so if a dialogue gets over 2 days old, rather, it will flag as expired.
Okay.
Which is a signal for us to reach out to Hale to say what's going on with this dialogue.
Okay, so you'll get notified about that, but after 2 days. But what if it's one of those keyword things?
Oh, and it goes to Hale?
Yeah.
I'll have to look. I don't know the answer to that question. But as we look at that feature, I'll figure it out.
So as you can see where I'm thinking on this, like, these are sorts of things I worry about. Someone picks a specific school and they say a specific thing, but then for whatever reason, the people responsible with that school don't see it. And then there's a delay, and maybe it's a very important thing that we don't want to delay it. So that's the sort of stuff I want to try to make sure that we have some processes in place to prevent as much as we can that sort of thing from happening.
For sure.
It's kind of like a checks and balances type of thing.
Sure, we don't want to have any gaps. If we have gaps in it, defeats the purpose of even having it. So I agree with that.
I mean, the 2 days thing is fine for like a general question about something that's not time sensitive. And obviously we always want them to call the school office if it's something we're, bad, or something that is time sensitive. So they're not using that as the crutch, if you will. But safety things, things that we need to address on the school-wide level, I think that's the thing I'm more concerned about. Someone uses that as a communication method to do that, and then it doesn't get seen because whatever else is going on at that school. And if there's certain keywords, granted, keywords only going to get you so far. If someone doesn't use one of those keywords, it's still a possibility that it could get missed. So yeah, just thinking about that, I guess.
You guys have any other questions?
Mr. Sikich, any questions on this?
What will you do with the data that you collect? How will you use that?
Great question. I think that this can really inform what we message about going into, like, say, the next school year. We now have all this data on like what the most commonly asked questions were at the end of August. So I do hope that it can help us get ahead of our messaging. Like, we know what families are asking when. I also hope that from a satisfaction standpoint, because Carolyn also handles concerns and formal complaints, that this is a tool that can help us get ahead of some of those things. And like that timeliness that she's been able to provide these like 97 family members, I think is just so valuable in helping people feel that like they don't know who to call, or they're having a hard time getting through to someone, they can get that response, and hopefully their concern or situation can be neutralized before it escalates. And I feel like we've all been in those situations where you've been like bounced around, or you're frustrated about a thing, and you just get continuously more frustrated each person that you get past to. So I hope that we're able to see an impact even from like the concern complaint angle too.
I also could see it being useful for, if we get a lot of questions about a certain thing, like, oh, yeah, that's buried in the website someplace that we can't, it's, you know, have to go 3 clicks to get to it. Maybe we bring that further up too, so it can help inform the design of the website, as well as with the communication that we're sending out to people, but like, oh, make it easier to find that piece, since it seems like a lot of people are looking for it, but they can't find it.
Definitely.
Other questions, comments? Mr. Burns?
Will we hear more about this as we get further into it? Like, are you guys planning kind of not necessarily like the attendance, but just so we can kind of see where these questions and things are?
Yeah, we'll have updates. I don't want to say every quarter for Let's Talk, but we'll have, this won't be the last one. We'll revisit it just to kind of give you an update of this, where we are with our numbers, the types of reports that we're getting, concerns. We can definitely add that to we have a list, an internal list that charts out each meeting and what type of data that we're going to present at each meeting. So we'll continue to add this at some point when this will come up. So we can be organized on our end.
I could see it too as like a board report thing that you could put it in the board report, Dr. Stewart, as well. So then the board could see like what sort of things we're getting.
Yeah. And is this, I guess maybe kind of off of Kristen's comments, but is this like a pilot that we're doing for this, or is this like we're doing this and this is the way it's going to be moving forward? Because just, I mean, with the valuable data that you're saying, like how does what we see and how does the data, what are you going to use to justify paying for the service and taking the time of our staff to do these responses? Like, is that?
So one of the things, again, it's the first effort is making sure that we have someone to address the concern. That's where Carolyn comes in. And then the second opportunity that we have is to create sort of a vessel of sorts to allow for that communication to happen. And this is where this comes in. And I've said it over and over, you know, engagement, it has to be a two-way street. I've heard a lot coming on, and then in the first couple of weeks is no one knows who to contact. Even though we have people here, I get it, right? And so it's kind of removing that particular excuse. And I'll say to date, I haven't had anybody to come to me and say, I don't know who to call. Like that really has been removed. In fact, every one of our listening learning sessions you hear, you know, oh yeah, let's talk. Like I don't even have to talk about it. They're talking about it. The parents are talking about it. So I do know it's effective. From a numbers sense, we will kind of have to work and see how is it affecting the bottom line. I'm not quite sure. At this particular point, I think it is feel good. Where you know it's kind of hard to evaluate that in a quantitative sense, but qualitatively, I can definitely say it's creating a more positive atmosphere and responding to concerns. Yeah.
If I can just when we discussed this this was actually this is like the 3rd or 4th time I've seen this. We talked about this at the PTA council and we got very good feedback. We had a parent at the Hale session who straight up said, oh yeah, I found it on the website. I submitted something. She was the one that said, I wasn't exactly thrilled with the answer, but she was happy that someone she got a contact, she got an answer right away and she was satisfied. So, the feedback, at least that I have received from the listening sessions and even that our council is, it seems like this is a good way, another good way of providing another communication tool for our parents. Not saying that we shouldn't evaluate down the line. I'm just saying that from what I've heard so far, we've gotten some very positive feedback about it.
I think for me, it's about usage. You know, if we have it, we're not getting people submitting questions very often. Then I think then you start looking at, well, what's the cost to have this piece? Like, have we somehow addressed these communication needs elsewhere and thus people are not asking it? But right now, if we're getting this many and it's not even been
Trying to
really
get
widely
public.
communicated.
Yeah.
It seems that there's a need for it, maybe is it $200,000 a year? Okay, well, maybe we need to consider that, but but the cost is versus how many cost per message or whatever you want to say. But I think that there seems to be a need for something like this. And so maybe valuing from that perspective, then we can look at the cost and say, well, is there other things out there or other ways that we can address this? But definitely something similar to like where you go to a website and it's like a little thing that pops up, like, hey, do you have a question? And you can put the question in, or hey, let's chat. And the thing, like, it's similar to that. That's how I see it when you go to other websites, when you're looking, or you're just looking around and like, oh, I don't know about this. And then that thing pops up. It's like, oh, well, maybe I'll engage with this now and get my question answered and then make a decision. So
I want to say on the first day of the soft lunch, we had about 8 responses in a matter of a day. And it was just added to the website. Nobody publicly knew about it. And that was like, I was like, what? They saw it, okay. That lets us know that people are visiting our website. That's one, but they're noticing the means of communication. And I think that's something we have to take advantage of.
Definitely. Thank you.
And if people want to talk to us, like we want to talk to them. So this feels like a good entry level way to start a lot of conversations. And there's potentials here to add topics, based on referendum information or based on other like timely ways that we want to give every opportunity for every member of the community to get to talk to an actual person. So.
additional questions, comments? Well, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Looking forward to see how it goes once we go official on the 15th. And then, if there's any themes that are coming up that you think that we should know about, please let us know.
Awesome. We'll keep you posted.
Awesome.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you. All right, so that I believe ends our meeting for this evening. So I look for a motion to adjourn.
Move to adjourn.
Second.
Moved and seconded. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Mr. Secretary, thumb up. We are adjourned. Thank you very much, everyone.